Hello, welcome. How's it going, everyone? 1 hour to go, well, slightly less than that until the Gameweek 12 deadline. I got it right, I think. How is everyone? Welcome. I don't know, Penguin, if you're in the chat. Mustafa, FPL Cheddar, Ichikin, Sashin, Nirmal, Atharik. If I pronounce that, sorry, mate, I'm murdering your name. Yeah, guys, I'm just going to go through my team quickly. I've had a bit of change of heart with my transfers because the news to Jota really changed my plan. I was going to take Son and Kane out, so we'll go through that in a minute. But if you guys want any questions asked before the deadline, put them in the chat and we can go through them using this tool up here. We can use the attacking and defensive graphs as well. But yeah, let's get straight to it. Let's have a look at my team first of all. Oh, I've almost forgot. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, give it a go. You get one of these little thingamajigs. I just subscribed to my own channel. I don't know if that works for everyone, but yeah, I think you're meant to have some of your privacy settings turned off on YouTube. So it may not work for everyone, but give it a go if you haven't. Press that subscribe button right now. Okay, let's have a look. These were my planned transfers. Hi, Slaughter PFK and Mustafa, how are you? And Ahmed as well. So yeah, I was fairly happy with the planned transfers at the moment. Son and Kane were both going to go. I know that's a bit controversial, but I needed to get Salah in. So Son and Kane were going to go out, and Salah was going to come in, and I was going to captain him. And so Salah was going to come in for Son, and Bamford was going to come in for Kane. But I've had to change that now because Jota, over on the right-hand side here, I had doubts about whether he was going to play anyway, but now he's got an injury niggle, so I'm pretty sure I'm not sure he's gonna play. So I'm now changed my thoughts. So instead, I'm going to transfer Jota and Kane out, leaving Son in, and get Salah for Jota, and then I'm just going to play Welbeck, who would be on my bench against Leicester, which is not the worst fixture. So it would be Brewster coming in for Kane, but I'll just bench him, which means I have a pretty monstrous midfield of De Bruyne, Son, Grealish, Fernandes and Salah, which is pretty nice. It does leave a pretty weak forward line, but if I need Bamford next week, I can always upgrade Adams. Adams has Arsenal and Man City in the next two. So Adams could just go to Bamford next week, where I think he has Newcastle at home potentially. And Welbeck has Fulham and Sheffield United after the Leicester fixture. So I'm pretty happy. There's lots of other people with like DCL or Watkins or Vardy and all of that lot. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a differential first striker pair, but we'll see how it goes. Pretty happy with that midfield. So those are the moves. I've already made them. It's for a -4. Let's head back. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Simon. You just missed your little animation thing there. I'm so sorry. Hope you forgive me, and Atharik as well. So yeah, my team's across the top. I'm at around 275,000 rank, which is pretty good. Pretty happy with that at the moment. So fingers crossed we can push on, and then hopefully the target for the top 10k by the end of the season will be in reach. So fingers crossed everything goes ahead. So let's start answering some questions. Who was first? Atharik, hey Ted, is sacrificing Kane for Wilson so that I can afford Salah a good idea? Well, it's almost very similar to what I did this week, so I don't think there's any reason. One thing was that in the Newcastle presser, they did say there were a few players out, and they didn't specify who it was. So I can't guarantee that Wilson is definitely going to play, but certainly the West Brom fixture is a prime fixtures target. So if you can afford that and it's worth the gamble, you're happy to gamble whether Wilson is going to play. I think he probably will do. But I think getting Salah in for Kane and captaining him is definitely worth a shout. Same Nirmal, Calum Wilson. Calum Wilson's captain. That may be a bit of a stretch considering that he might not even play, but there's a good chance he's going to play. I would probably captain one of your premiums. Like De Bruyne even is a great shout, so if you've got him. I have Bamford and Adams beside Calvert-Lewin. With who thinks I should start, Bamford or Adams? I mean, that's a tough one because Adams has Sheffield United, and that's a great fixture. They're really, really bad defensively. Let's just have a look at Sheffield United. They're all the way up top right over here, and this is a defensive chart. So if you're on the top right hand side, it means you're conceding loads and loads of chances. They haven't kept any clean sheets. So Adams is a really good shout for that fixture, especially if Danny Ings plays as well. I think they're better together. But Bamford probably because of the number of big chances he's having. And I mean, West Ham is probably a tougher fixture, but I would probably play Bamford if you have to. If you can find a way to play both, I would. Werner captain, and is Mane reliable? Yeah, I mean, Werner could be a bit of a differential captain shout. Definitely recommend him this week because Everton are atrocious defensively as well. And Werner's, I think he's third for number of big chances in the last 6 game weeks. So, I mean, it could be a really good shout. Mane, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, Mane always is second rubber to Salah. So, he always gets a raw end of the deal in terms of perception, but he's a really good player. I think his stats in the last 6 game weeks with Salah are almost identical, so he could be even more of a differential pick, maybe. So, yeah, Ahmed, nothing wrong with those suggestions. Right, Jota is okay, has 4 to very nice, he'll play enough, I believe. That's fair enough. I think just the moves that I was going to make and having Jota potentially come in is a bit of a tricky one. So I've just gone without him. I think that midfield, keeping Son just in case Spurs go crazy is fine. Right. I have Mane 1-3-10. I should sell Salah for this week or stick with my guns. No, I would stick with Mane. I mean, Salah is going to be heavily owned, but a sideways move just doesn't really make too much sense. So I mean, Mane could easily get the same amount. He had a benching in the week. He's probably more sure of start. So I'd be fine. Keep Mane. Do you think my power midfield of Salah, KDB, Grealish, Zaha? So it's very similar to mine. You just got Zaha instead of Son, which is absolutely fine because Zaha's got he's fresh off a massive haul against West Brom. Who are Palace playing? They're playing Spurs. Spurs are pretty defensive, so not going to expect Zaha to get many returns, but maybe in future game weeks. What if Salah rotates? I'm pretty sure he's going to start. I just think he needs minutes, so I'm not really worried about him being benched. I have Calvert, Shea and Wilson. It took a -16. That's absolutely crazy. I hope it pays off for you, dude. Wow, it looks like a very high-value team. Defense is still solid. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but Cancelo is a problem because I'm just not sure whether he's going to start week in, week out. And Masuaku is a bit of a pain as well. He's on the bench and he's injured. So if Cancelo doesn't start, I'm pretty stuffed in terms of bench options. So I'm just going to have to play with 10 men if he doesn't start. Mina Karim, should I bench Jota or DCL or Wilson? Oh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure it's going to matter because I don't think Jota's going to play. But he may be fine. Who knows? Right. I think there's still an outside chance of Salah rest this week. Maybe Chris. I don't know. I mean, I really hope not, but fingers crossed he starts because of my captain. Who knows? Kufal or Target this game week? Right, let's use this as the opportunity to do the first little use of the tool. Let's have a look. Kufal or Target. Let's see who they're playing. I do forget. So Kufal for West Ham. I did see that Fredericks might be back, so I'm not sure whether he's going to take Kufal's place or not. Not 100% on that. I think he might be a few weeks. Leeds is a tough fixture and Wolves is a tough fixture, so I get your decision. In terms of stats, probably Kufal edges it just, so I'd probably play him. And Leeds, let's just have a look at like their Leeds defense. They're top for number of big chances conceded. Even though they've got 3 clean sheets, I think they're overperforming a bit defensively. So I would play maybe against the Leeds defence. So go for Kufal. Welbeck is part of your best 11. Looks like budget, too constrained and too few players. Yeah, potentially, Simon. And that's something I have to sort out going forward. But it's a sacrifice I have to sort of make with the big midfield. If I had taken Son out, I would have been left with a bit more money in the bank. So it really depends on who doesn't perform going forward. I might have to make a sacrifice out of the 4 premiums and then free up some budget elsewhere. Who should I start? Who should I bench this week out of Justin and Dallas? I think Dallas for me, because let's do it again. Let's do this thing. Who was it? Dallas and Justin. My immediate reaction was play Dallas, but Justin's fixture is probably a bit better. I do know that Ricardo Pereira is on the verge of coming back, but I don't know whether that's going to affect Justin's game time. It probably will do, but he maybe have one more game week in him. Dallas has much better stats. Like he's had 8 shots in the last 6 game weeks versus Justin's 3. And he's a bit more creative as well, and he's got 1 more attacking return. So Brighton are just as capable of scoring as West Ham probably, so I would probably play Dallas. Mane captain or Salah captain? 100% Salah. I need help transferring Pulisic, Calvert-Lewin and Vardy out for Mane, Welbeck and Ings. Is it worth it? Probably not, because I think Pulisic's going to play. Calvert-Lewin's going to play against Chelsea, Vardy. It's difficult. Why aren't you going for Salah instead of Mane captain, I wonder? Maybe you can't afford it. I think Ings is probably 1 week too early as well. Haven't seen enough of him yet. So I would try and do it maybe just for a -4 and get Salah captain in. Because I think the 3 players you're transferring out are possibly going to play anyway. Sashin, hi Ted. Planning to transfer out Kane and Jota for Salah and Adams. Yes, I think that's a great shout. Adams has got a great fixture, and if you're captaining Salah, then 100% worth it, even if it's for a -4. Slaughter, while you're taking Kane out, I've created a plan to get Kane back in 3 to 4 game weeks. Yep, that's fine. I think Spurs have a fixture swing back in game week 16, where they start by playing Fulham again. So, definitely worth getting a plan up and running in your head. Pedro Neto versus Villa. Let's have a look. Neto is one of those players that you don't really think of, but he's flying under the radar potentially. Where are you? Why is Pedro Neto coming up? Not sure why he's not coming up. Okay, we'll just leave it. Jota is injured. Should I put him in? You said Neto as captain. Definitely not. Jota to Rafinha or DCL to Bamford. DCL could very feasibly get something at Chelsea, so maybe Jota to Rafinha would be a better shout. Ichikin, any chance Van Aanholt is going to get anything in the next few game weeks? He's probably gone for Reece James. I think when I was looking at the best defenders in this, let's just bring the best defenders up. I think Van Aanholt was top. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he is top. Yeah, so he's top for defenders in terms of attacking stats. He's had the most shots, most chances created. Maybe not great for big chances, but he's had 2 attacking returns. That's pretty good. But the fixtures are very difficult. Spurs, he could get something at West Ham, Liverpool, potentially. Yeah, it's a tough one. Form versus fixtures for me. So, tough one. I don't envy you, mate. Sorry. Okay, should I start Zaha or Shea? I probably would start Shea because Sheffield United's like a pretty prime fixture. So he could definitely get something. And Zaha against really defensive Spurs, although they might not be defensive against Palace. They might push on a little bit. Probably just due to the fixture, I'd play Shea Adams. As you say, definitely leaning towards Shea. Yeah. Ahmed, I think I answered your question, buddy. Jota to Rafinha, I think is probably a better shout. I mean, also consider Harrison as well. I think, I can probably filter this just by Leeds players. So let's have a look. Might take a little bit of time. Bear with me. Yeah, Rafinha is definitely a talent, but he hasn't had enough game weeks to have like the stats come through. So let's take a look who the best option at Leeds is. Okay. So not surprisingly, Bamford is coming up top. It's fine. But let's have a look. Wow, this Excel model surprisingly struggles. Yeah, Bamford is absolute animal. Harrison's up next. So, like, you know, if you want an alternative to Rafinha, then maybe opt for Harrison. He's quite cheap, 5.4, and he's really lowly owned, but he has got pretty decent stats for that amount. Then we've got Click, and then we've got Rafinha. So Rafinha's got 12 shots, 5 chances created, including 1 big chance. Whereas Harrison's had 10 shots, including 2 big chances, 15 chances created, including 2 big chances created, and the same amount of attacking returns. One more than Rafinha. I think Rafinha's probably played fewer games, so that probably has diluted his numbers a little bit. But yeah, maybe worth consideration of Harrison. He's my captain Salah as well, mate. If I hadn't wanted to, okay. Wanted to make the transfer I bought in Mane. Yeah, fair enough. Should I bench Calvert-Lewin for Zuma? No. I think Calvert-Lewin, you've always got to play the attacking player for sure. Yeah, like he could easily get something at Chelsea. I mean, who are Chelsea playing? Everton. Yeah, Everton, might score and then Zuma might not get a clean sheet. So I'd go Calvert-Lewin. Best cheap striker, 6 million range. Okay, that's one for the thingamajigs. Let's do that. Right, I've got to put all these teams back in now. Best cheap striker, 6 million range. My immediate thought is Bamford 6.2 is the best. So, but if you can't afford him, then I've got Welbeck. I generally think he's a decent pick at 5.5 million, and Shea Adams. Thanks for the subscription, Ollie. Love it, mate. You're the first person to get like a live notification thing, I think, like a proper one. So that's pretty cool. What am I doing? Yeah, 6 million striker. Let's do it. Okay, so I've just got to limit it to 6 million. Actually, let's put it let's do 6.5. So you just got a little bit of wiggle room. Bamford definitely come up top. Almost sure of that. Okay. Just scroll to the top in a second. Oh, McBurney making an appearance. To be fair, I did mention McBurney in the last stream, and he did score at the weekend. His first goal of the season. So you heard it here first. Right, have we got? So Bamford's top at 6.1. No, he's 6.2 now. So this model's slightly old. McBurney, I probably wouldn't advise getting McBurney, even though he has got his first goal of the season. I think Sheffield United are going to struggle for goals. Then we've got Watkins. I don't know if he's still 6.1, but Villa are going to have double game weeks and stuff, so it might not be the worst shout. Chris Wood, 6.2. Ooh, Mitrovic. I don't know why Mitrovic keeps coming up on this. Like, he's practically dropped. Practically been dropped by Scott Parker, so I wouldn't recommend Mitrovic. Welbeck would be on here, I think, if he hadn't. He's only played 4 games this season, I think. So, but I think his stats are okay, so I expect him to see up here pretty soon. Right. I have Lamptey, Ayling and Gibbs fighting for a starting place in my team. Gibbs is an interesting one. West Brom probably have tightened up a little bit, but probably not enough to suggest having him, maybe. Have they kept a clean sheet this season? I'm not sure. Who do you favour most this game week? I would probably say Ayling. West Ham, Antonio may not be fit, so they may not be coming out firing. Bowen's a bit hit and miss, so probably Ayling, even if he is playing centre-back. Which to bench out of these? Cancelo, Lewis, Ayling and Lamptey. I would start Cancelo. He's unlikely to get sort of minute cameos, so he's either going to play or he's not. Lewis is playing West Brom, so there's a really good chance of a clean sheet there. Ayling and Lamptey have both got more difficult fixtures. I'd play Cancelo and Lewis, and I would first bench Ayling and then Lamptey, because Leicester are probably going to score against Brighton. So, yeah, I mean Lamptey's a talent, isn't he? But I think probably those two out of the four, Cancelo and Lewis. Ziyech replacement got 9 million. Okay, I'll do that for you. 9 million, and you presumably want a midfielder. So let's have a little cheeky look. Take out forwards. Update the thingy. We've got 9 million. Thing is, yeah, Mahrez was a bit of a letdown at the weekend, wasn't he? And Zaha. Okay, so if you haven't got Grealish, he's the number one priority. He's missed a game week and he's still top for stats. So if you haven't got him, I'd get Grealish in. Lookman, yeah, that's a pretty interesting differential there. But his stats are like pretty good, pretty similar to Grealish. I know he plays for Fulham, but Fulham have been improving recently. Trezeguet, that's an interesting one. I probably wouldn't recommend going Trezeguet if you haven't. And he's like way cheaper than your budget. Mahrez, like, I'm not sure he's going to get dropped. I think Mahrez was really decent against Fulham, so returns are going to be there. He's just pretty inconsistent with them, and Zaha's fixtures probably aren't great. So Grealish will be the priority for me if you haven't got him. Fantastic videos. Thank you, Daniel. That's awesome. Chris, Mahrez or Barnes out for Grealish game week 13? Why would you transfer out Grealish in game week 13? He's got a great run of fixtures. Burnley, West Brom, Palace. I would definitely keep Grealish for game week 13. Oh, wait. No, I've just completely misunderstood. You want to bring Grealish in for game week 13. Yeah, Barnes out for Grealish. Barnes hasn't been doing much recently, has he? And Mahrez, as I just said, is doing all right. So, yeah. Take Barnes out. Should I sell Havertz? Who knows? I mean, has he done much? Let's have a look. If I can spell his name. Havertz. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. He hasn't really done much, has he? 1 big chance, 2 shots in total. I'm not sure on his minutes. I think he's been benched here and there, hasn't he? So... And those fixtures are pretty mixed. Yeah, I would sell him. There's rotation in that front line. Like Giroud and Abraham, maybe you're going to rotate. Then you've got Pulisic back. And you've got... Ziyech is probably injured, isn't he? So he could come in for Ziyech. Maybe you should hang on. Hang on for maybe one more game week, see if he improves. If he starts for Chelsea in place of Ziyech, then that could be a really, really big differential pick. Whom should I replace Son with? Mane, Salah, KDB. Definitely Salah. Because you've got to captain him this game week. He's going to be massively, massively captained. If he hauls, your rank's going to drop. So I would definitely get Salah. Rehan, I don't think you will regret it, mate. Leicester Brighton, I think, is a bit of a dodgy fixture because I think it could go either way. I think probably Leicester do win it, but I think there's enough of a question there for it to be touch and go. So, yeah. Arsenal have decent fixtures. Should I get any of their defenders? let's have a look at the defensive chart. So Arsenal are down there, sort of middle of the pack. Although they haven't been conceding too many big chances, so that's quite promising. Only 2 clean sheets in the last 6. I mean, it could be a shout. I mean, what I would say is that their team morale's not great because they've been losing. Their results have been mixed. So, yeah, I mean, if you wanted a cheeky differential one, I think Tierney looks really good. Number of chances he's been created, lots of crosses. So, if you're really going to opt for one, I would go for him. Right, Ted, who would you rather have, Adams or Wilson? Thing is, I'm really excited to have Adams for this game week, Sheffield United at home, and then I'm going to ship out. So long term, it's not great. Although I think he has Fulham after Arsenal, Man City. So if you're playing a long term game with Adams, I'm not sure it's like the worst idea. But for me, I just want Bamford more for the next game week. So I think Wilson does Wilson have better fixtures? Let's just have a look. Just have a look at Calum Wilson's fixtures. So he has West Brom, Leeds, Fulham, and then a few tough fixtures. So Calum Wilson for the short term probably is better. But as I said at the start of the stream, like we don't 100% know if he's going to play against West Brom because of the Newcastle press conference. He said a few players were injured. And I think it was Newcastle at the centre of the COVID training ground stuff, wasn't it? So maybe that's because of that. But yeah, if you pushed me, I'd probably go Wilson. Ings. I mean, Shea Adams is better with Ings in my opinion. So Ings for Jesus. I mean, I'd give Jesus one more game, I think, because we don't know whether Aguero's back right now, and City, you never know what they could do against Man United. So Jesus could easily haul there. Well, probably not haul. He could score maybe. Final Richie, hello mate. Good luck for the game week. Thank you too. How many goals will Welbeck score? I'm expecting a hat-trick against Leicester, so I'll just be happy with like a cheeky handball assist like he did last week. So 5.5 million. I really can't complain if he doesn't do anything. So we'll see. DCL for Wilson, as in bring in DCL for Wilson, or bring in Wilson for DCL. Either way, I probably wouldn't do it because I would stick with either of those players because DCL could do well against Chelsea. You just never know. And I said, there's enough doubt in my mind about Wilson even playing. Newcastle don't set the world alight with the number of chances they create and the number of goals they score. So, that West Brom game could feasibly be low scoring. If you've got Wilson, stick with him. If you've got DCL, stick with him. Sorry for misunderstanding your question. Would you sell... I've lost my place now. Would you sell Jota for a -4? Would you sell Jota for a -4? Well, I have got Salah, Fernandes, Grealish as a midfield. Podence or defender as potential replacement on the bench. You've already got Salah, so you don't have to bring him in. Would you sell Jota for a -4? I mean, there is a chance that he plays. I mean, it was only a minor knock that Klopp was talking about. But for me, Firmino and Mane were rested, and I just think that he's just going to play full strength without Jota. He's probably going to bench him if he's got a bit of a knock. So Jota might get some minutes at the end. So unless you're bringing in a big hitter to captain, they're probably not worth it. So yeah. Nketiah, 5.5 million, might get some game time too. Maybe. Although, I think Arteta's now pretty set on this this Lacazette number 10, Oba number 9, Saka on the left, and was it Saka on the left or Willian on the left? But yeah, Nketiah could get some minutes, but I'm not sure if it's worth the gamble just yet. Maybe Welbeck's probably more value. Zuma is statistically the best centre-back in the air. Yeah, potentially. DCL wouldn't stand a chance since he only scores headers. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, with Everton, like they've lost a lot of creativity with their fullbacks, and James Rodriguez is out, apparently injured. So DCL might have a lack of supply, although Richarlison is pretty key. So he could still get something, but it just whether depends he gets away from Zuma in the air, and you just never know. It may not be a headed attempt either. It could be, it could be a shot. So it's a gamble either way. I think Everton Chelsea is not going to be a 0-0. I think both teams are going to score in that. So it's really up to you. Son to Bruno for game week 13. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, Son's playing Liverpool, so yes, Spurs love to counter-attack against possession teams. So he could do well against Liverpool. You just never know. And they've got a pretty depleted backline, Liverpool, shall we say. And Bruno's got a great run of fixtures from game week 13 after the Man City game. So makes perfect sense for me, Mohamed. Mane for 1 week punt captaincy. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if you haven't got Salah, I don't see why Mane can't match Salah in this Fulham game. Yeah, as you say, his away form is better. So, yeah, I don't see there's any problem. What's that website? It's not a website. It is my own personal tool, which I create FPL content with, my friend. So, unless you hack my laptop or something, I'm afraid it's not publicly available. I do post lots of stuff on Twitter, and when I get some time to update my website, I do post it on my website as well. So that's tedtalksfpl.com. Ahmed, I think I did answer your question, buddy, quite in detail as well. Jota to Rafinha, I'll just answer it again. Like, I would go for Jota to Rafinha or Jota to Harrison at Leeds. If I think they were roughly the similar price, weren't they? I think DCL could easily do well against Chelsea, so Jota to Rafinha would be my answer. Thanks for the stream. It's no problem, Chris. Happy to do it. It's quite fun. Thank you for joining. Sean, DCL to Bamford for a -4. Plan for next week anyway. Love your content. Thank you very much. I don't know. It's a difficult one. Like, yeah, Bamford long term, he's got some really good fixtures. So if you're doing it for a long term move and you expect that -4 to pay off, then I don't see anything wrong with that. I just can't remember what Everton's fixtures are. Like, I think they're pretty bad. Their fixture run is not great. Calvert-Lewin's stats have fallen off a little bit as well, and as I said, his supply has fallen off. So yeah, Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Arsenal at home. Leicester and Arsenal, they're not the worst fixtures, but on paper Bamford looks like a better option. His stats are better than DCL as well, so it probably is just worth a -4 potentially. Close one though. Best mid-range defender, 5 to 6 million for upcoming game weeks. Well, I'll do that for you on here. Let's do 5 to 6 million defenders. I've got to get rid of Calum Wilson and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Immediate thoughts. It's tough. Reece James, if you haven't got him, maybe. 5 to 6 million. Reece James, it's a difficult price bracket, isn't it? Because the City mids are on paper the best, but they might even sort of get rotated. Right, so we've got Van Aanholt, which I probably wouldn't recommend. I might limit the teams to like Man City and the best defences, because Van Aanholt and Baldock, like, you don't really want to invest in their defences because they play for teams that don't keep many clean sheets. Reece James is pretty good, but Chelsea's fixtures, they're tough. He does cross in plenty of times, doesn't he? Maguire, surprised. I did this on the live stream last week. I was surprised to see him have so many shots, but it's just like logically it doesn't make any sense to bring in Maguire. And then there's Cancelo, which is who I have, but I'm not 100% sure he's even going to play like most game weeks. He might rotate in and then. So It's tough. If we limit it to the teams that I consider to have like the best defences, so we'll go Chelsea, Leicester, okay, maybe. I'll keep Man United in there. Newcastle, Sheffield United, remove those. Keep Spurs, remove West Brom, and West Ham. Let's do that. Okay, so we've got the same people in the top three. Let's see who's come underneath. Ruben Diaz and Semedo. Interesting. Like Ruben Diaz is exactly the same as Cancelo. Like we don't know whether he's going to get rotated with Stones and Laporte. So I think if you opt for a Man City defender, you have to like take it on the chin when they get rotated and have like a suitable bench player. Semedo's an interesting one. Like Wolves' fixtures are a bit hit and miss, and his stats aren't too bad. 5.6 is quite a lot to pay for a Wolves defender, so it's quite a tricky price bracket. Harry Maguire, if you're feeling super adventurous, is a bit of a punt, but just logically speaking, Alex Telles seems a little bit more like logical, but I don't know whether Shaw is going to come back and take his place again. I will see. Right, that's enough on that. Sukan, how's it going, buddy? What do you think of Jota's knock? Yeah, I mean, it was enough to put me off to transfer him out, even though I said I probably wouldn't. But I just think I think he probably won't start against Fulham. I think he will come on probably for the last 20 minutes because maybe his knock isn't as bad as people think. But I don't think he'll play against Spurs, which is it's enough for me to transfer him out. So I would just play him because if you've already made your transfers, 20 minutes against Fulham could be fine, and I could regret my decision transferring out. Ward-Prowse's first up is like he's been doing bits, hasn't he? Ward-Prowse, like he's the frequent expert. So I would just leave him on the bench, Ward-Prowse, and if Jota doesn't play, then 20 minutes is enough for you to be. If you knew that Jota was going to get 20 minutes of Fulham, would you play him over Ward-Prowse? I think I probably would, just so. Because Ward-Prowse isn't going to be scoring free kicks left, right, and centre every single week. So I would just play Jota. If he gets 20 minutes, not the end of the world. If he doesn't play at all, then you get Ward-Prowse come in. So I think I would do that. Kane to Werner. It's an interesting one. Like long term, maybe for the next 4 weeks. Although Chelsea's fixtures, like we can see at the top here, Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Arsenal. They're like middling, aren't they? So I think Werner's a great shout for Everton because Everton are atrocious defensively, but Kane could equally do well against Palace. My personal prediction is that Spurs won't beat Palace by much, just like they didn't beat Burnley and West Brom away. They only managed 1-0 wins there. So I personally think it's only going to be a small margin of victory for Spurs against Palace. So Kane to Werner, I mean, I think either are great shouts. It would be more up to who you want to keep long term. That would be my choice. If you want to keep Werner long term, go for him. Bench, DCL, Watkins or Souček. Souček for me. He's a great player. He's had loads of chances and he was one of those players that had loads of great chances, loads of stats, loads of numbers, but didn't convert. And he's had a couple of returns recently, but I just think he's probably a bench player out of those three. Ahmed, no problem, buddy. No problem at all. Hopefully I answered your question. Okadele, VA Hardy, and KDB to Salah and Werner. Or Ings and Salah for Son and Vardy. I wouldn't transfer out KDB. No way. So Ings and Salah for Son and Vardy if I had to pick one of those two. Also, due to poor transfer decisions earlier, I have not have Salah or KDB in my team. DCL, Bruno, Kane, and Son. Who do you think is the best for captain this game week? So if the who's the best captain this week is mutually exclusive to your previous couple of sentences, then I think it's Salah is the best captain this week. But if it's out of those people that you've mentioned, DCL, Bruno, Kane, and Son. I mean, probably on paper it's Kane, because Kane's going to have the penalties against Palace. He's going to have the headed attempts. He's going to have the all-round threat, whereas Son likes to play against the high lines. Excuse me. So maybe the game suits Kane a little bit more. So I would probably go for him out of those two, because Bruno's got City. Not sure he's going to get massive returns there, and DCL's got Chelsea, so who knows? Those are all unpredictable. So out of those four, I'd go for Kane. You've got Grealish and Jota. Yeah, I probably wouldn't captain Grealish against Wolves or Jota against Fulham because of the concern about his fitness. I have neither Kane nor Son. That's fine. I mean, I was going to go without Kane or Son this week, so I think there's plenty of managers that are considering transferring them out for at least the next four. So, Joshua, you've probably got a great team without Kane and Son. You've probably got Bruno Fernandes, you've got Salah, KDB, whoever. Kufal or Target? I swear I answered that earlier. It was Kufal, I think. Kufal just pipped Target, so go for Kufal. James Rodriguez out as well. What was the question again? I mean, I don't have DCL, so I don't need to bench him. But, yeah. Who do you think of Lampard mentioned Pulisic needs awareness of one of his hamstring after Leeds match? Yeah, who knows? Thing is, he got some minutes under his belt last week, didn't he? So, unless he suffered a setback, there's no reason why he's not going to get more minutes this game week or start or have his minutes managed after a start. So it depends whether or not you're willing to risk that or not. Personally, I would go with it. I wouldn't worry too much. The awareness of his hamstring, he just needs to be aware that if he's playing and he pulls up or he has a little twinge during the game, he needs to signal to come off. Rather than saying, he's not going to play. I don't think there's any difference. I think he will start this game week. You're welcome, Sukon. Hope that helps me. Suggest a good defender around 4.5 or 4.6 other than Target. Okay, we'll do it. Limit it to 4.6, 4.5. Who knows he's going to come up with? Right, I need to put these teams back in because it'd be stupid if Target comes up top. That'd be really annoying. Hopefully you won't. Okay, so Dallas is coming up top, which is nice. I own Dallas, so that's nice. Yeah, he's just got some decent stats, hasn't he? Furlong, interesting. Sanjay, so if you haven't got Dallas, get him in because Leeds have got some fairly good fixtures. West Ham, Newcastle, Burnley and West Brom over the next 5. So if you haven't got him, or I probably wouldn't double up if you've already got Ayling or another Leeds defender. So this is interesting because Furlong plays for West Brom and I wouldn't expect them to be hugely great at keeping clean sheets. Aina for Fulham. It just seems silly getting a Fulham defender, doesn't it? So and Kufal, there you go, Kufal. So any of those 5, mate, I would go for. But if you haven't got Dallas, I would go for him. Shall I captain Vardy, Kane or Wilson? Vardy could do well against Brighton's high line. So maybe Vardy's a better shout. But Kane is perfectly acceptable. As I said, I don't think Spurs are going to massively win against Palace. But I think they are going to win. So that means they have to score a goal. And the likelihood is it's going to be either Son or Kane. So I think Vardy or Kane. Wilson's got a great fixture, but I'm not 100% he's going to start with that injury press conference. So I think probably I would order it Vardy number 1, Kane number 2, Wilson number 3. Until Rodgers ditches 5 at the back, I don't think Vardy is a captain option versus other 5 at the back systems. Yeah, it's a good point of view, Chris. Vardy definitely needs that creativity, doesn't he? And he needs Maddison. Was there some injury news about Maddison? I think he was okay. The thing I don't like about Leicester is they're quite unpredictable. They have mixed fixtures. I mean, not mixed can't even speak. Not mixed fixtures. They've had mixed results. I mean, they've lost to Fulham. They don't have enough shots for my liking. They have plenty of big chances, but it just makes them unpredictable. So Vardy's like great because he's scoring loads of goals and he's on penalties and stuff. But Brighton could easily win that game for me. Like, I think it's up in the air. So, hey, average at FPL, how are you, mate? Abraham or Souček to bench? I mean, I would bench Souček because Abraham's got a great fixture against Everton. Everton are really bad defensively, so I would just play Abraham. If he gets rotated with Giroud, then so be it. Souček's going to come on for you if Abraham doesn't play any minutes. Otherwise, you've got 20-30 minutes against Everton for Abraham, so I would just always play the forward. Go Abraham, I think, because there's no guarantee that Souček's going to get any returns against Leeds. Just noticed I still can't bring in Salah with that Son and Vardy. That's a shame. Thank you, KDB captain. I think KDB captain is like perfectly acceptable. He could easily haul against Man United. Man United aren't like massively strong defensively anyway, and Man City have they've just got into form. So perfectly acceptable captaincy pick. No problem, Binaya. Good luck this week, mate. Maz, you have to go back to the start of the video, buddy, because I went through my team then. I'll just quickly go through it for you. So this is how it looks. Got McCarthy in goal against Sheffield United. Cancelo, not 100% sure he's going to start, but I'll be really happy if he does. Chilwell against Everton. Who knows whether he's going to keep a clean sheet. In Dallas against West Ham. And they've got this monster midfield of De Bruyne, Son, Grealish, Fernandes and Salah, captain against Fulham. And a sort of relatively cheap front line of Welbeck and Adams. But plan is to get Bamford in for Adams next week, so not overly disappointed with that squad. Rank is around 275, I think it is, something like that. 275k, I should say. Cresswell or Bamford? 100% Bamford. Always play the attacking player. What is your target rank at the end of December? How long have we got left? We've got, was it game week 12, and then it's about game week 17 is the New Year's Eve fixtures. So I've got 5 game weeks. I mean, being top 50k by then would be a dream. But realistically, if I could get top 100k by then that's a really good starting point to build on that using the chips and stuff. Because I think it's a strange season, this one, because I think game week 18 is likely to be the biggest blank game week of the season. Game week 19 may be the biggest double game week. So the chips are going to be used slightly early, which is interesting because they're usually saved towards the end. And then we slowly build on, and then people who save their chips and use them wisely tend to have that massive rank boost towards the end of the season. Whereas this time we may get a rank boost earlier on. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, maybe top 100k is like perfectly reasonable target, I think, for the next 5 game weeks. Because I think only 5 or 6 game weeks ago I was around 1.4 million. So definitely there's a low enough points between the ranks to edge up quite quickly. So start Richarlison or Mendy? I think I would start Richarlison. I don't think the Everton Chelsea game is going to be 0-0. So I think Everton might score there. And as I said, there's a rule of thumb that you always should start the attacking player, so go for that. Would you start Kufal or Diaz? Diaz for me. Yeah, because Kufal are playing Wolves. Is Kufal playing Wolves? No. Leeds. Thank you for the subscription, Ad Gassan. Welcome to the family, my friend. Yeah, I would go I agree with Charles. Sorry, I answered that already. Go Diaz because he's playing for a bigger team. He has some goal threat from set pieces, so I'd play him. Quite balanced with Justin and Barnes on the left. Yeah, I agree with that. I think they'd be better with a left-footed left back. I mean, Justin's had his run, hasn't he? And where's Castagna gone? Is he injured? Ricardo Pereira could play left back. Pretty sure he's not left-footed though. But yeah, I'm not sure if they have a left-footed defender. Not sure. Should I bring Werner Captain and Rafinha in for Vardy and Riedewald? Midfield is Son, KDB, Bruno, Grealish. So it's a nice midfield. I mean, it's quite a good shout because Werner Captain could easily do well against Everton, as I've said earlier. Riedewald is a bit of a bench option for you, I guess, but Vardy could equally do well against Brighton. So, I mean, on paper, those moves look all right. So yeah, why not? I don't personally like owning Vardy. So Werner, I think Werner's probably going to start going on a run. I reckon that's my gut feel. So yeah, I recommend that. Start Lewis, Lamptey or Kufal. So Lewis is against West Brom, so I would just immediately go for him. Lamptey is playing Leicester, so I mean they're probably not going to keep a clean sheet against Leicester, and Kufal are playing Leeds. So yeah, I think Lewis has the best chance of clean sheet points there. Who shall I bring in, Salah or De Bruyne for a -8? -8 is quite a lot. KDB is a perfectly acceptable captaincy pick. Shall I bring in Salah or De Bruyne? So you don't have either of them. I mean, that's tough. If you're bringing in both for a -8, then it might be worth it long term. But if you had to pick one of them, I would go Salah because of the better fixtures. De Bruyne is playing Man U, Salah's playing Fulham, so Salah's probably going to do better against Fulham. I'm not scared, not worried that he's not going to start. I'm almost certain he just needs rhythm, he just needs minutes. So I think Salah's going to start. So I would pick him over De Bruyne this week. Sanjay, one more query. Next game week onwards, Ziyech plus DCL or Bruno plus Adams? Bruno plus Adams for me, for sure. Bruno's got a great run of fixtures after the Man City game, so I would bring him in. I think he's got Sheffield United in game week 13, so I would target him. And Adams is playing Arsenal. I mean, it's not the worst fixture ever. So yeah, definitely that one. My midfield right now is Jota, Grealish, Son and Fernandes, I imagine. It's a good midfield for sure. I hope Jota gets some minutes for you this week. In terms of the big hitters moving into the next few game weeks next year, would you consider Kane or Fernandes to be the best option? Fernandes, his stats are incredible. He's created the most chances in the league, and I think he's third for a number of shots. So definitely worth bringing in Fernandes for me. Tottenham defence or City defence long term? Let's have a look. Let's have a little cheeky look. I mean, Man City down the left here, bottom left, 3 clean sheets in their last 6, and they've conceded the fewest shots in total, and only 4 big chances conceded. So I think Man City have the best option defensively all round, but Spurs have more clean sheets, so maybe they're playing more effectively defensive. So yes, they've conceded a lot of small chances, but that's because they're defending rather deep, and I think they've conceded the same amount of big chances as Man City. So I think either are fine. I think Spurs probably have more nailed defenders like Dyer and Alderweireld, and even Reguilon. They've had so many clean sheets, whereas I imagine Man City are slightly more exciting defenders, but they're probably going to be rotated. So I'd go Tottenham if you don't want to risk it too much. Although Tottenham do have tougher fixtures, I have to say. So long term, it's a tough one. I probably would go City just because of the better underlying stats. I mean, I'm happy having Cancelo, even though I think he might be rotated. But it's interesting to me that he can play left back and right back, and Pep's perfectly happy playing him in both positions. So Cancelo, I mean, he's worth the risk for me, probably just about. Would I play Kufal or Taylor, as in Charlie Taylor, Burnley? Burnley have got Arsenal, haven't they? Arsenal have been poor going forward, haven't they? So I think they probably will score against Burnley, though. I'd probably play Kufal, because Kufal's got some decent attacking stats. Would you play Diaz or Kufal? Diaz for me. Kufal or Diaz? Yeah, I mean Diaz. Shall I take Fernandes for either De Bruyne or Salah? I mean, if you're going to take Fernandes out, you're going to have to get him back in. So it's a bit of a hokey cokey, and you're going to waste transfers doing it. Is there another way to get De Bruyne or Salah? If you really want Salah this game week, there's nothing wrong with going Fernandes to Salah and then finding another way to get Fernandes in, keeping Salah next week. Otherwise, I would probably just not bother getting Salah and captain De Bruyne. Kane or Werner this week? As I said, I think someone has already asked this. Probably Werner. I think that fixture is really good. Chelsea's attacking stats. Have a look at their attacking stats. One sec. So top right over here, Chelsea are in line with like Aston Villa, Man City. They've got some of the best attacking stats in the league, and they've scored 12 goals in the last 6 game weeks. So they've got really good stats, and they're playing a really weak defence in Everton. So I would go Werner. DCL on the bench or Reece James on the bench? Reece James on the bench for sure. Always go with the attacking player. Always play the attacking player. Do I start Kufal or Diaz? Diaz. I think always start the more expensive defender. Yes, they're playing Man United, but Man City could completely pummel them and keep a clean sheet, for all I know. But Kufal isn't necessarily a better option because he's playing Leeds, who I think are going to score. Leeds have exceptional attacking stats too, so I would just play Diaz. DCL or Reece James. Oh, the deadline, 6:30. 6:30. Let's have a look at some team news. Let's have a look. Team news. Has anyone got some team news? Who is it? Leeds. Leeds United. Right, it's not out yet. Look at it in a minute. I'll look at it in a minute. Back to the chat. Bench Diaz or Vestergaard. Who are Saints playing? Sheffield United. Yeah, I'd bench Diaz. I think Saints are going to keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United. Right, have I got to the bottom of the list? I have. So let's have a look at some teams. Come on, give me some team lineups. The deadline is at 6:30, right? Pretty sure it is. Why is no one retweeting? I think the team lineups, we already knew who Leeds were playing anyway, because Bielsa named it in his press conference. So it'd be interesting to see if it was exactly the same. Am I being like super thick? Oh yeah, the team lineups are coming out at 7, aren't they? Because it's an hour and a half early. Stupid idiot. Okay. Cresswell or Ayling? I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, the deadline's just passed, so you might be a little late, buddy. Juma, when is the Fantasy Premier League deadline GMT? I mean, it's just gone past 2 minutes. So, I mean, I think it was anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, the deadline's passed. So that's it. No team news. That's a shame. Well, what will you guys? Is we're going to end it there. Hope that was vaguely helpful to you all. Best of luck for the game week. Green arrows to you all, and I think I'll catch you next time. Hopefully do a deadline stream next week. Oh no, there's a midweek game. I'm not sure if I'll do a stream before the deadline on Tuesday. If I can, I will fit it in, but we'll see. So I'm going to end it there, guys. All the best of the game week, and I will catch you next time. If you haven't subscribed, do it, and give the video a like. It's going to help other people see this video, so that would be super awesome. And yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you all for watching. See you next time, guys.